So any one of you can please tell me what we discussed in the previous class? I think hope you are watching my screen, right? My PPT. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So what we discussed in the previous class? Day before yesterday.
Hypothesis.
Yeah. So we discussed only hypothesis or any other? So I think we discussed about measurement scales, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
And after that, we discussed about hypothesis, right? So types of hypothesis. Any one of you? How many types of hypothesis we have?
Two types.
Two types. What are they?
Null and alternative.
Null and alternative. H naught is
Null.
H1.
Alternative.
Yeah. So how many errors we discussed?
Two.
What are they?
Type 1 and type 2.
Type 1 and type 2. Okay. So when you are going to be say type 1 error? Null hypothesis is true, but you reject it. That is called type 1 error. Null hypothesis is false, but you accept it. That is called type 2 error. Even though in the production process, right? So you got good product, but you rejected that. That is called type 1 error, right? What is type 2 error? You got bad quality of the product, but you gave permission. It's a good quality. That is called type 2 error. Okay. Good quality rejected, that is called type 1 error. Bad quality which you accepted, that is called type 2 error, which just now I gave an examples to you, even the same points which we discussed in the last class. Okay. So even I have shown to you how it is going to be identified. So we have different types of test, right, to prove null or alternative, accept or reject. Okay. So we have one sample, two sample, paid sample, ANOVA, correlation, regression, different types of statistical tests we have, right? So based on the measurement scale which you have implemented in your questionnaire, right, then based on that you are going to be choose which one, right? Is it uh, one sample t-test or two sample t-test, or maybe a correlation, or maybe a regression, or maybe ANOVA, or maybe any type of test. Okay. It purely depends upon what type of measurement scale which you have included in your questionnaire. Okay. Then even we discussed about the process, right? So how it is going to be proved, one sample or two sample, or maybe one tail test or two tail test. Okay. So which we discussed in the last class. Fine. Now the one more important concept in the second unit, that too in BRM, right? So which is research plan. So indirectly I may say about that research plan, which is research design itself. Okay. So we discussed more on research design in the first unit, last concept, research design, as per your syllabus. Okay. So it talks about sample, it talks about population, it talks about hypothesis, it talks about what type of statistical tool you are using to prove your hypothesis. Okay. So what is research plan? So before starting any research, right, as a student or maybe as a researcher, you should have a plan how to proceed this project, right? So you have identified one particular problem. Okay. So based on that particular problem, okay, do you identify different types of questions, right? Research questions. Then based on research questions, maybe you wrote a objectives, and based on that you wrote hypothesis. Then based on the hypothesis which you are going to be choose, whether how many independent variables which you have included in your hypothesis, then depends upon that which you are going to be choose test. Okay. So this is, I'm talking about the plan, right? So a research plan is a detailed description of a proposed study. So you identified a one problem, then how to get a solution, you should have a plan. So how to work out, that is what we are talking about here. So a research plan is a detailed description of a proposed study, and it includes a literature review, right? So which we already discussed about. Suppose to find out your problem, you are depending upon literature review. To find out about what other researchers did, then you are depending upon review of literature, and what other researcher gave solution based on the same problem. Okay, so it includes review of literature, which we discussed in the second unit itself, right? So last a few days back, and even that justifies the study and its hypothesis and description of the steps that will be followed in the study and information about the analysis of the collected data. Okay, so see, a research plan, which is a detailed description of a proposed study. So what you identified, then how to proceed in the future, and how to get a solution to that particular problem. That is what we are talking about in the research plan itself. Okay, so will be followed in the study and information about the analysis of the collected data. So to prove your hypothesis or maybe anything, then you need to depend upon any primary data, right? You are collecting the data. Now once if you collect the data, that data has to be changed into the different formats. Okay, so you are not going to be get accurately what you want. So you are going to be get in the form of characteristics. That characteristic has to be changed into the coding format that we are going to be discussing in the next unit. Okay, you have in your syllabus it was mentioned coding and even what type of softwares which are using. Most probably we are using Excel, and or else maybe we are using Access, right? MS Access, or maybe we are using maybe SPSS, or maybe UViews is a one software which we have, finance related oriented one, and even SEM, structural equation modeling also we have, right? And even right now latest n number of softwares are available, free softwares that too, right? Jamovi is available, right? And even different types of softwares which are available, right? It's an open source itself, right? Few open sets and few licensed version. So you have to invest some money to get those softwares. Okay, in my system I have PLSM and even SPSS and even structural equation modeling also. So in the coming classes which I'm going to show to you how it is going to be work on those softwares also, okay, by taking one or two examples. Fine. And even I will explain to you coding, how to do coding also in the coming classes, because it was included in the third unit. Okay, so see, the plan provides a guide for conducting the study. So when you have any plan, then only it will give you guidance how to go and how to proceed your work. Hope you understand what I'm talking about, right? So what is research plan? A research plan is a detailed description of a proposed study which you have already on your hand. Then if you get any doubts, then you are checking that. So because you already worked out, so how many variables has to be included in your study, you studied based on review of literature, and even you come up with the different types of questions which has to be included in your questionnaire, right? Maybe a demographical variables, or maybe a psychographic variables, or maybe a characteristics related that particular variable which is really required. Okay, so once if you prepare the questionnaire, then based on that, right, then you are collecting the data. So because you have already one particular plan, then based on that you are working. Clear? Do you have any questions as of now? I think you understand. Did you understand what is research plan?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so now, so see, a research plan serves several important purposes, right? So if I'm taking an example of the people, those who does not have a research plan and those who have a research plan. So those who does not have a research plan, then they are going to be work out that particular problem in a different way, right? Whatever way which they are going to be get, they are going to be implement, and finally they are going to be get one output. It is not matching with the objectives. So the guy who is having a research plan in his hand, then it is easy to him to go ahead, because he already prepared one roadmap, and based on that roadmap he is going to be finished. So if it is first chapter over, then he is going to be work on second chapter. Then once if he complete a second chapter, then he is going to work on third chapter. Then once he worked on third chapter, then he is going to be work on fourth chapter. Then majorly fourth chapter done, then fine. Then based on that you are going to be write findings, suggestions, conclusions, and future research. That's it. That is your project. And even research work is also goes like this itself. If it is a PhD related work or thesis related work. Okay, so a research plan serves several important purposes. What are they? So first and foremost one, right, it forces you to think through every aspect of the study, right? Now suppose you want to find out a problem, then how you are going to be find out a problem? The one source which I have already said to you, which is review of literature, right? So how you are going to be identify? You are reading review of literature, and which is published by the famous authors in maybe a Springer's or maybe elsewhere or maybe Vikalpa or maybe standard journals, which I already listed few standard journals, right? You have to collect the relevant sources and read those articles, and finally the author which is going to be right, which is future scope of the study, which is not covered. That may be your problem. So it forces you to think through every aspect of the study. So now you identified a problem, then how to identify a variable? Then again, review of literature itself. What about the other previous researcher did? Then how he identified, what type of variables he included? Is it how many independent variables he identified, how many dependent variables he identified, right? So based on that, then again you are going to be work. So each and every stage, so you have to be think through every aspect of the study, right? So when you have a research plan, then definitely you are working on step by step. Then the second one, it facilitates evaluation of the study by you and others, right? So as of now, even I say to you, right? So you have a research plan, then previously you depended upon any other author who is worked on the same problem, and you collected the data, and from there you are evaluating. So how some X gave an information on one particular problem, and how some A gave answers to that particular problem, and how some B gave an answer on same type of problems, right? So it facilitates evaluation of the study by you and others, right? So how about others responded to same problem? Then you will get some idea, then based on that you are going to be work. Okay, then third and fundamental purpose of research plan is that it provides detailed procedures to guide the study. As of now, even we are talking about, right, research plan itself, which you should have one process, right, one idea, right? Without having an idea, it's highly difficult to you to go ahead, right? The basic purpose of research plan is that it provides detailed procedures to guide the study, right? So you have detailed information on your hand, then you are not going to be face any problem when you are doing research work, right? So that is my point with respect to the research plan. Okay, so see, if it is a detailed plan, and throughout plan it saves time and it provides structures for the study, right? You are not wasting your most valuable time, and it provides structures for the study. So each and every study which you already designed in a specific way, and you are working on that, okay, and reduces the probability of costly mistakes, right? Now if you don't have any research plan, then obviously what happen, then whatever way or whenever way which you are getting, then you are working on that, then finally it is going to be cost to you, right? So it's a costly mistake you will do because you don't have a research plan, okay, and generally results in higher quality research. Especially the person who want to do quality research, then definitely he's going to be work on research design or research plan. So well research design is talks about your quality of research. If you don't have a good research design or good research plan, then no one help you, because you did something and you identified a one problem and you identified objectives, but finally when you completed your project work after 1 year, you got the results which that results is not matching with your objective. Then you wasted your most valuable time because you don't have a structured study. Are you following? Are you following? Yes or no? Come on, boss.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So see, part of good planning is anticipation, right? So when you are doing any planning, then obviously you should be in a position to anticipate what it is going to be happen in the future. So if something was going to be get like this, then how to react that particular problem, because you already designed that, then you are going to be work. when I was working in my thesis work, right? So most of even my guide and even my co-faculty members and even fraternity in the teaching community, they'd say to me, don't use SEM, structural equation modeling, because it's difficult. So please use SPSS. It's easy. Then apply any correlation or regression or maybe something else, factor analysis or something else, then submit it. Then I did not compromise and I worked on. Then while I'm doing, then I faced lot of problems, but I did not give up. My research time is 10 to 2 o'clock. So I spend time every day 10 to 2 to complete my thesis, and that too structural equation modeling. No one guided me. I may say about that my guide is there, right? But whereas to know and to learn about the structural equation modeling, I went to WIT, Vellore Institute of Technology Sciences, and I learned that software. And even whenever any people are conducting structural equation modeling workshops, then I attended even so many universities. Then I worked step-by-step process and I learned. Now I can able to do anything in a structural equation modeling. So because I anticipated and I came to know few problems while doing. Okay, so try to anticipate potential problems that may arise. Do what you can prevent them and plan your strategies for dealing with them if they occur. So you should have one plan how to solve this particular problem if you get. So everything may be possible if you are created one good research plan or maybe a good research design. Then only it could be possible to you to complete your project work without any difficulties. But you don't have any research plan and you don't have any guidance and even you don't have any idea how to do your project work or maybe research work, then definitely you are in sea. You are in a big sea, and even though if you know swimming and you don't know how to go and you don't know the direction, then you will swim 1 hour, 2 hours or 3 hours, then finally you will give up. The same thing which is going to be happen in the projects, and at the same time even it is also happening in the thesis work also. Are you following? Now, components of quantitative research plan, right? So definitely see, when you are going to be work on any research plan, that research plan may be divided into quantitative or maybe a qualitative research plan. Okay, so what is quantitative, which talking about is a numerical form. Okay, so obviously you should have in that quantitative research plan, right, introduction section anyhow, that is a basic thing, and the method of section, so what type of method which you are going to be choose, and data analysis, so what type of data analysis you have to include, and the time schedule also. Okay, so see, when you are working on research plan, you should have a time bound. You should have prior handly information on your hand. So if you don't have, then how you are going and how you are moving, then different directions itself. Your objective is something and your working is something, and finally you are going to be get output is something. It is not matching with your objective. Okay, so components of quantitative research plan. So introduction section, you should have that, and method section, so what type of methodology which are going to be implement in that, and data analysis. Based on that, you should work out on what type of data analysis methods which I have to include to get the answers for the hypothesis which you framed, and the time schedule. It has to be complete before this many months, or it has to be taken only this many months or this many days. That's it. Okay, then components of qualitative research plan, right? It's a qualitative oriented one, which is not in the form of numeric, right? Of prior field work you should do, right? And even title, of course, and introduction section, and even research procedure section you should have. Okay, so this quantitative and qualitative one, which we'll discuss very clearly in the next unit, which was mentioned in your third unit. Okay, now I think, hope maybe you understood in the second unit what is research problem, how to identify research problem, and how to write research questions, and how to frame research objectives, and how to work out on identifying independent variables or dependent variables, right? And based on that, even I have gave some basic information to you, which is measurement scales, nominal, ordinal, interval, and ratio, right? So those who have and those who understand this logic, I think, hope maybe you are going to be understand the next slide which I'm going to show. Now check here, right? Now before going to work in your project work, you should have a blueprint, right? Same which I'm talking about. Any one of the person, if he is constructing any building, of course he is going to be approached to the civil engineer, right? He should have a one map, right, which is construction map. Okay, same thing which I'm talking about here, which is research blueprint. Okay, now hope maybe see, observe here, this is my broad research question. So I'm not talking about prior to this, which we have research problem also. Based on the research problem, you come up with the broad research question. So that question, maybe you are identified 3 objectives, which is giving answers to this particular question. First objective, right? Research objective, research objective 2, research objective 3. So you have to divide like this when you're doing your project work. I think no student will do like this. Of course, I know very well about that. Out of my experience, 99.99% no student will do. Simply you are going to be approached to your seniors, and seniors may say about that nothing is there in our project, so just cut, copy, paste, do it and submit it. Everyone is doing that, so don't do that. Okay, so giving due respect to the project, work out and give a solution, then you will get an idea what you did. And even I say to you, right, your project should be give you life. Your internship should give life. So you should work like that. Then only you may call as an MBA student. Okay, so my broad research question is this, and based on that, which I have framed objectives to give an answers for this particular question. So 3 objectives I framed, which is relevant to this question. Now my hypothesis for this objective is 2 hypotheses for this objective, which is again research hypothesis 1, research hypothesis 2, research hypothesis 3. Okay, for this research objective, I have come up with the 2 hypotheses, right? And one hypothesis which I have null and alternative, and from here also null and alternative, and here also null and alternative. But nowadays researchers are not writing null and alternative. They may write either maybe alternative hypothesis. When you read any standard journal, you may not find null hypothesis right now. They are writing only alternative hypothesis. Any one of you can please tell me why they are not writing null hypothesis? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
So why they are not writing null hypothesis? Any one of you can please tell me. Nikita? Jansi? Any one of you? Joseph, what is the reason? Any wild guess? Are you there, Joseph? Guys, respond. Are you listening? Soumya?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Did you understand my question?
Yes, sir. Why are researchers not writing null hypothesis?
Yeah. Why? Any wild guess?
Because they want to reject null hypothesis all the time.
Now see, I have mentioned right before starting this unit. Okay, so see, maybe if it is Chennai Super King or maybe Royal Challengers Bangalore are playing game, right? So two captains on the field, and they throw in a coin, and the one person won, then I may not say defaultly other person lost the game or lost the toss. Is it right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So the same thing, rather than mentioning two, what is null hypothesis? There is no significant difference between two variables. What is alternative hypothesis?
There is a difference between two variables.
So rather than writing two, I may write only one. Yes or no?
Okay, sir.
So that is the reason. Okay, so the old researchers, which is in the 1970s and 1980s and 1990s up to 1990s, researchers wrote a null and alternative hypothesis in their research work. Now people are not writing null and alternative. So if you go through with the standard journals, they are writing only one hypothesis, that is alternative hypothesis only, or maybe null hypothesis itself, because always researcher is trying to reject null hypothesis. So most probably 90% of the researchers right now in the standard journals, they're writing only alternative hypothesis. Okay, clear? Right? So see, based on my objective, first objective, so I have come up with the two hypotheses here. So 1 and 2. Then from here, which is second objective, I wrote first one more hypothesis, 1, 2, 3. Then from this, maybe 1 and 2, like that. Hope you understand. So you should have a research, a plan or blueprint like this. Then you are not going to get any confusion, because you worked very hard on this to identify a research question, and based on that even you come up with the objectives also. Then based on that even you frame the hypothesis. Then you already know how many independent variables are there and how many dependent variables are there. Is it a nominal, ordinal, interval and ratio? Then if it is only a categorical variable, then you are going to be apply one type of test. If it is a metric variable, then you are going to be apply one type of test. That's it. That is the logic behind that. So hope in the next slide which I'm going to show you the same thing. Okay, so see, research blueprint, objectives, hypothesis, variable, test mapping. Now see, I'm taking only, what is this? Research objective 1. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now research objective 1, then hypothesis is this research hypothesis 1. In that I have variable 1, variable 2, variable 3, right? Now variable 1 is, what is dv? What is dv?
Direct variable.
Dependent variable.
Okay, okay, sir.
What is iv?
Independent variable.
So in the research hypothesis, right, I have three variables, right? In that first variable, which I'm mentioning like this, dependent variable, that is one dependent variable, two independent variables. Okay, now dependent variable, now just now I say to you, is it a numerical? Right? So numerical means, is it a nominal, ordinal, interval, ratio?
Ratio.
Interval or ratio?
Ratio.
Right? Yeah. So right, so either maybe interval or ratio is called numerical. Okay, so nominal and ordinal is called categorical. Okay, so see, now dependent variable is numerical, either it may be a interval or ratio type of scale. Then independent variable is also numerical, and even independent variable is also numerical. That means two independent variables is numerical and dependent variable is also numerical. Then all numerical, that is which is metric, then you can apply multiple regression. This is the logic. So those who understand this, if you understand this process, maybe you're not depending upon even your college faculty to complete your project work. So this is the logic. So it's clear, right? You have a plan and you know very well about that, how many variables is addressing to that hypothesis and to that particular objective. Then based on that you are choosing test. So here, which is not only two variables, we have one dependent variable and two independent variables. So you are applying multiple regression, because if it is one independent variable and one dependent variable which are going to be apply regression, right? But whereas here, one dependent variable and two independent variables which you are applying multiple regression. Are you following? If you
Yes,
have any questions, please ask me. Now, one more. Now, see, based on same research objective, I have come up with one more hypothesis. In that hypothesis, which again I'm mentioning here, which is V4, V5, V6, right? And even V2, the same one which I'm taking here, or else you may consider this is V1, V2, V3, V4, right? Okay, how many variables we have here? 4 variables, right? Out of 4 variables, how many independent variables I have?
3,
3. How many dependent variables I have?
1,
1. So what is the dependent variable?
categorical.
Categorical. So if it is categorical, means is it a nominal, ordinal, interval, or ratio?
nominal and ordinal.
Yes, exactly. So either maybe it's a nominal or maybe ordinal. So right. So your dependent variable is nominal or maybe ordinal, and the remaining independent variables, all which is in a metric nature. Then you are going to be apply multiple discriminant analysis. So like this, if you have a research plan and blueprint on your hand, then it is easy to you to finish your project work or maybe research work. So most of the researchers and most of the students and 99.99% of the students are not following this, and even 90% of the researchers, or especially those who are doing thesis work or those who are doing PhD work, they're lacking of this knowledge, and because of that they are doing something and they're submitting something and it's not matching with the objectives. Okay, so this is called one example which I'm showing to you, which is a research plan. So you should have like this, then only it could be possible to you to finish your a project work, right? Okay, do you have any questions? Any questions? So see, as of now we discussed selection of research problem, literature review, setting of objectives, formulation of hypothesis, measurement of variables, research plan, and how to conduct the research. Okay, so with this we successfully completed the second unit in the BRM. Do you have any questions? Please ask me. So we have still 10 minutes time. Let me go ahead with the third unit. Okay, let me start. Then exactly 11:05 we'll go ahead with the QABD class. If you have any questions, please ask me here itself. I think now you are watching my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
So let me open third unit in the BRM. If you have any questions in the first unit and second unit, please ask me. So in the second unit, we discussed how to identify research problem and even review of literature, right? And third, research problem and even review of literature, and even we discussed about hypothesis. Then after that, measurement scale, research plan, and how to conduct research work. Okay, I think now you are watching a third unit. So let me start third unit. So third unit, which was mentioned as a data collection, right? Now, any one of you can please tell me, what do you mean by data collection? What do you mean by data collection? Any one of you?
Gathering of information, sir.
Collection of raw facts.
Yeah, collection of raw facts. Okay, so how you are going to be collect the data? How you are going to be collect the data?
Through surveys
Okay, so maybe you are going to be depend upon either maybe a primary,
or secondary source.
primary source or secondary source. So that is what even it was included in your syllabus. Okay, so what we are going to be cover in the third unit, right? So first we are going to be talk about data collection methods. Okay, then after that we have in our syllabus, which is primary data, methods and techniques of primary data, and this and next we are going to be talk about methods and techniques of secondary data, then editing, classification and codification of data using computer packages. Okay, so any one researcher initially, if he want to get the data, then either maybe he is going to be depend upon two sources, either maybe a primary data or maybe a secondary data. Okay, now let me show to you, right, one important slide, right? So see, any types of researchers, or maybe if they are going to be work on any research plan, they should have all this, right? So research design, which I'm talking about, types of research design. Of course, we are not talking about all these points, right? There is a logic behind that, which is why I'm showing. So any research design may be divided into two, quantitative and qualitative, or sometimes it may call a mix of quantitative and qualitative, mixed methods. Okay, so we have any number of methods in the quantitative method: experimental, non-experimental, which is experimental again called true experimental, quasi-experimental, single subject, or non-experimental, descriptive, comparative, correlational, survey, post facto. So we are not discussing all this one, and even we are not discussing about all this qualitative also, right? We have in under qualitative interactive and non-interactive, ethnographic, and even phenomenologic, and even case study methodology, grounded theory and critical studies, and non-interactive, which is concept analysis, historical analysis, right? All this information is related to the PhD guys, not for the MBA guys. So see, the only one thing which I'm talking about, mixed methods, which is called exploratory. Here we have explanatory, exploratory and triangulation, but even our focus is only on this exploratory related oriented one. Okay, so exploratory is a combination of a quantitative and even qualitative methods. Okay, so we have different types of methods to collect the data, either maybe quantitative or maybe qualitative or maybe mixed methods, fine. And in that n number of, okay, so we are not focusing on that. So because in your syllabus it was mentioned only two, which is primary source and secondary source, that which we are going to be talk about this exploratory research design. Okay, so let me explain to you what is this exploratory research design before going to talk about what is this primary source and secondary source, right? So then after that you are going to understand why I'm talking about this exploratory design. Okay, so what is this exploratory research design? The term itself is talking about exploring. You're exploring something. Okay, so to explore something, then definitely you are going to be depend upon any type of method. That methods we will talk now. Okay, so exploratory research is most commonly unstructured and even informal research that is undertaken to gain background information about the general nature of the research problem. It's informal, right? So you are getting the data, or maybe commonly unstructured is also called, right? So it gains knowledge and even it gains background information about the general nature of the research problem. Okay, so we'll get some idea by doing this particular research design, which is called exploratory research design. So exploratory research is usually conducted when the researcher does not know much about the problem and needs additional information or desires new or more recent information. So why any one particular researcher is going to be applied this exploratory research design? Because, right, researcher does not know much about the problem. He does not know much about the problem, and even he required some additional information, right, to gather. Then based on that, he is going to be understand, yes, this is a problem, and because of that it is going to be occurred. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now see, any one of you can please read this for example which I have mentioned. Any one of you.
For example, consider a scenario where a juice bar owner feels that increasing the variety of juices will enable increase in customers. However, he is not sure and needs more information.
Now what do you understand this particular problem? What is this example is talking about? What did you understand?
The owner of the juice bar, that owner feels that increasing this varietiness in juices will make him to increase the number of customers, like the count in the customers. But
Exactly.
he's not sure about it because he didn't have any required information,
Yes.
necessary
So
information.
he thought, this is an assumption, right? Okay. Or else even we may say about that this is hypothesis itself, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So he got one assumption, that's it. He made a one statement, it's not yet proved, and even he does not have an information also, right? First hand information. So see, juice bar owner feels that increasing the variety of juices. So one juice bar a person, he started one particular shop, and even see, he is already providing certain juices in that particular bar, right? But whereas he thought, if I increase some additional juices, then only I may increase a customer base. Okay, so juice bar owner feels that increasing the variety of juices, so he has a few varieties but he is not getting customers. He thought, if I increase varieties of juices, then only I may increase my customer base. Okay, so he is not sure and needs more information. Then if this is a situation where you are depending upon exploratory research, so the owner intends to carry out an exploratory research to find out, and hence decides to do an exploratory research to find out if expanding the juices selection will enable him to get more customers, of if there is a better idea, right? So he is going to be conduct exploratory research. Then how he is going to be conduct exploratory research? He is going to be keep few more additional varieties of juices in the shop, and he is observing customer movement, right? Now simple, we know very well about that. If you go to the DMart, and you are going to be find maybe a mixed juice related packets also, right? Tropicana, right? Maybe if you like maybe apple juice, and you exclusively want to buy, then you may buy. And even additionally, we have right now mixed fruit juice also in the Tropicana. Yes or no? Are you following?
Yes.
So the same thing this person is also doing, right? So he kept some additional variety juices and he is observing, so how many customers are interested to take that, right? So he observed first week, second week, and third week, and because of the variety of juices which he added, and most of the, Shirisha, please mute your video. Right? So while increasing the varieties of juices, right, then he thought, yes, customer base is increasing. Then he is going to be continue with that. So for that he is collecting the data. Yes or no? Hope you understood. So we have different types of exploratory research. So to stand here, which I gave all that basic information to you. So this is what exactly which was included in your syllabus. So primary research and secondary research, or primary source of data or secondary source of data. Okay, so how many we have under primary, which we have, we even we are going to be depend upon surveys, or maybe polls, or maybe interviews, or maybe focus groups, or maybe observations, right? Secondary source, which we have either maybe online research, or maybe literature research, or maybe case study research. So how many methods we have under primary, which is how many methods?
Four.
Four methods. What are they?
Polls, interviews, focus groups, observations.
Yeah, surveys or polls, interviews, focus groups, or maybe observations. Now secondary research, or maybe secondary source of data, to get the secondary source of data, which we are going to be depend upon either maybe online research, or maybe literature research, or maybe case study research. Okay, right? So we'll discuss first one, which is what is this primary research methods. Okay, then we'll stop, and I will take QABD afterwards. Okay, so what is this primary research methods? As of now, even I say to you, so primary research is information gathered directly from the subject. So take an example of juice bar owner. So he want to add additional juices in his shop, and he gave that juices, right, and he kept in the shop, and he is observing directly. So how many customers are visiting that particular shop, and he's promoting that yes, we have additional even a few more juices in our shop, then why won't you try that? Then the people are using and people are drinking that particular juice, and if they like, then repeatedly they are visiting that particular store, and they are buying that particular product, and they are consuming that juice. Okay, so primary research is information gathered directly from the subject. Now, what did you understand here subject means? What do you mean by subject here?
The topic which we are involved in research.
No. Is it Soumya?
Yes, sir.
Any guess, Soumya? It's wrong. Now let me give an example. So I asked a question to you. Sunil sir, class is good or bad? To whom I will ask? Students only, right? So my students itself here, the subject. Primary research is information gathered directly from the subject. Okay, so based on the juice owner, customer is the subject. So based on Sunil sir class example, which is subject here, which is students. So indirectly I'm talking about here the respondents. Okay, so where you need to collect the data from them. Okay, so primary research is the information gathered directly from the subject. Okay, from the customers or maybe from the students based on the problem again. So we are going to use a common term which is respondents. That's it. So it can be through a group of people. So now you can understand a group of people or even an individual. Such a research can be carried out directly by the researcher himself or can employ a third party to conduct it on their behalf. Suppose you are doing same survey on one particular juice bar, right? You want to collect the data. So you may stand over there and you collect the data, or you may appoint one more person on behalf of you, and you will say that, so I want 100 sample, right? Collect this information from morning to evening. If you want to finish even within 15 days or 10 days or one day itself, fine, but for that I will give you money. So you are appointing on behalf of you one more person. So same thing even in the research also. Researcher sometime he himself will go to the groundwork and to collect the data, or maybe on behalf of him he is going to be recruit one more person to finish that particular work or collect the data. Okay, so primary research is specifically carried out to explore a certain problem which requires an in-depth study. So you have to collect data in the ground level from the respondents to know what exactly the problem. Now based on our juice bar, right, if the person thought maybe if I want to increase my customer base, then let me increase my varieties of juices, then even though he increased the variety of juices but customers are not preferring, then for that also you are going to be work. Maybe taste is not good, maybe price maybe increases, or maybe quality is not good, maybe you're not providing fast services, maybe he is not reaching to you, or maybe promotion is not reachable to each and everyone, and even the people don't know about your product. So many reasons behind that. Okay, so primary research is specifically carried out to explore a certain problem which requires an in-depth study. So you are collecting the data from the directly subjects, or maybe respondents, or maybe customers, or maybe a group of people, or maybe individual, a person, right? So how many methods we have under primary research to collect the data based on the primary source?
4.
4 methods, right? So we'll discuss all those 4 methods in the next class, right? Then after that we'll go ahead with the even secondary sorts of methods or secondary research, right, which is online research, literature research, and case study research methods. If you have any questions, please ask me. Do you have any questions? No?
No, sir.
What is primary source?
The information directly collected from the subject.
What is secondary source? Information which you are getting from either maybe online sources, or maybe which is already published in the form of journals, or maybe books, or maybe articles, or maybe newspapers. Okay, shall I close the session? BRM.
Yes, sir.
So in the today's class, which we discussed about the most important one in the second unit, research plan, right? And even I have shown to you how it is going to be work on based on one example, right, which is research question to research objectives and hypothesis and variables, and based on that what type of statistical method you need to apply. Okay, then we started with the third unit. Okay, so we discussed about exploratory research, right? So logic behind that, why I have come up with this one. So you have to be work on, because in your syllabus it was mentioned which is primary source and secondary source, right? There's a logic behind that, which is why to go with the sequence wise I have explained this exploratory research, the most important one. It's a combination of quantitative and even qualitative oriented one. Okay, so we'll discuss primary source of data and secondary source of data, and even different types how to collect in the next class, right? Yeah, let me stop now and we'll go ahead with the QABD. So do you have any questions which related to yesterday's problem? I think I got answer from only one student. What about others? I said so many times to you, if you did not practice, you may not understand. So no one will help you if you did not practice. Let me adjust my screen. Is it visible now? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
I think you are watching my board, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if you have any questions, please ask me. So yesterday we started fourth unit, that is decision theory, right? So decision theory environment, how many environments which we discussed in the decision theory environment?
3.
What are they?
Certainty, uncertainty, risk.
Certainty, uncertainty, and risk. Okay. So certainty part which we are discussing, where?
In 59.
Sorry,
In fifth unit, certainty part.
fifth unit, game theory. Okay. Then in this uncertainty, we have 5 methods, right? So what is that first one?
Optimism.
Optimistic or optimism criteria. Optimism criteria is also called
Maximax, minimin.
maxi-max or mini-min, right? Then second method,
Pessimistic.
pessimistic. Okay. So pessimism criteria. So pessimism criteria is also called
Maximin or minimax.
maxi-min or mini-max, right? Okay. Then third one,
Equal probability.
equal probability criteria. So equal probability criteria is also called
Laplace criteria.
Laplace criteria. Okay. Then fourth one,
Coefficient of optimism criteria.
coefficient of optimism criteria. Okay. So coefficient of optimism criteria is also called
Service criteria.
Hurway's criteria, right? Okay. Now, last one,
Regret criteria.
Criteria.
regret criteria. Okay. So we solved based on this 100% you are going to be get this type of problems in the examination. Hope I'm expecting, right? So even if you get any type of problem, they may ask like this. Okay. First one, which is maybe optimistic criteria, second one pessimistic criteria, and third one which is equal probability, and one more they may ask you, which is salvage criteria, right? And even one more, what is that? One more method: optimistic, pessimistic,
Equal probability.
equal probability,
Coefficient of optimism.
coefficient of optimism, and last one
Regret.
salvage
Salvage.
or regret. So they may ask you 4 or maybe 3 or maybe 5, depends upon problem. Okay. So try to understand that what they asked and apply and show the answer. Don't hurry, right? So you have to check. So if you do any one mistake, then you are going to be lose a few marks. So if they give 5 methods like this, so each method they are going to be calculated like that, which is maybe 2.5 marks or maybe 3 marks like that. Then even though you write correct answer, but maybe you did some mistake or silly mistakes, don't repeat that. Don't repeat silly mistakes. Most probably most of the students will do some silly mistakes. Okay. So don't do that silly mistakes, right? So next one, in the risk. Okay. So in the risk, which we have how many methods?
3 methods.
3 methods. First one EMV, second one EOL, and third one EVPI. So what is that EMV?
Expected monetary value.
Monetary value.
Expected monetary value, right? So what is EOL?
Expected opportunity loss.
Expected opportunity loss. What is EVPI?
Expected value of perfect information.
expected value of perfect information. Okay, so if time permits to me, then we'll go ahead with the EMV and EOL method, right? Even if time accepts to me, right, then we'll go ahead even with the EVPI method also. Okay, clear? So we'll work on risk related problems. Most probably you may get 99.99% that uncertainty related methods. Suppose if professor want to test your knowledge, you are going to be get this type of questions. Okay, so let me go ahead with first EMV method, expected monetary value method. Okay, so let me read one problem and try to understand this problem based on this EMV method, expected monetary value. Okay, so Mr. X quite often flies from town A to town B. Mr. X quite often flies from town A to town B. He can use the airport bus. He can use the airport bus. Okay, he can use the airport bus which costs rupees 65. How much he cost if he use that airport bus?
55.
25 rupees 25. Okay, but if he takes it, okay, there is a 0.08 chance that he will miss the flight. Okay, suppose, listen carefully, Mr. X quite often flies from town A to town B in the flight. To catch the flight, right, he can use the airport bus. Okay, airport bus he is using, which costs rupees 25. If he catches, then only he is going to be get the 25 cost. If he did not catch, then he's not going to be incur that cost, right? So that is what even they are mentioning. He can use the airport bus which costs rupees 25, but if he takes it, there is a 0.08 chance that he will miss the flight. So what is the chance of missing flight?
0.08.
0.08. So the stay in the hotel costs rupees 270 with a 0.96 chance of being on time for the flight. So if he stays in the hotel, cost which is going to be incurred, which is 270 rupees, and the chances to being on time for the flight, what is that? How much? 0.96. So how much probability which is there to miss the flight?
0.07. Sorry, 8.
uh,
0.08.
0.96.
To miss the flight, sir.
0.96 chance of being on time for the flight. So what is the chance of missing the flight?
0.08.
0.08.
0.08. Yes or no? Right? Clear? Now, see, for rupees 350 he can use a taxi which will make 99% chances of being on time for the flight. So suppose if he is going to be use taxi, right, which definitely he is going to be catch the flight 99%. Okay, if Mr. X catches the plane on time, he will conclude a business transaction which will produce a profit of rupees 10,000. Suppose if he catches the flight and if he moved from town A to town B, then definitely he is going to be incur how much business, which is 10,000. Okay, otherwise he will lose it. If he miss the flight, then definitely he's going to be lose that 10,000. Are you following?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Which mode of transport should Mr. X use? Is it Airbus, or maybe staying in the hotel, or maybe catching the taxi? Okay, so which mode of transport should Mr. X use? Answer on the basis of the EMV criteria. So they may mention like this type of problems. So if this is the case, then you are going to be applying EMV method. So what is EMV method? Expected monetary value method. Okay, clear? Now directly, which I'm going to be make table here, right? So let me make a table. Okay, so how it will be look like a table. So three conditions which we have here, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So they asked here what type of mode of transportation he has to use. Okay, Now I'm taking here, which is a table, to calculate that. So first, states of nature, right? So how many states of nature which we have? Two. One is catches the flight and miss the flight. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So catches the flight and miss the flight. Two conditions we have. Okay, now we have here, which is options. One is bus. What is that bus? Which is Airbus. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So a cast I'm taking first. Now second, which is probability. Then the third one, expected value. First one, cast I'm taking. Suppose if we use bus, then what about the cost, what about the probability, and what about the expected value which he is going to be get? Okay, so all this is talking about the course of actions. Yes or no? Course of action. Now one more which we have, which is stay in hotel. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Stay in hotel also, which he has, right? I'm taking, which is cost and probability and expected value. Now last one, what is that? Taxi also I'm taking 3 here, right? One is cost, probability and expected value. Okay, so I made table here. Did you understand how I made a table here? So
Yes,
states
sir.
of nature which we have two. One is the person is trying to fly from city A to city B every day, that is X person, right? So when he use bus, when he stay in hotel, when he use taxi, then he's going to be conclude some businesses, cost and probability which they give, and even expected value which we need to find out here. Okay, so the states of nature, which is when he is flying, when if he is using maybe a bus or staying in a hotel or taxi, then either maybe two chances which we are going to be get, catches the flight or maybe miss the flight. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now first one, now bus, I'm taking bus. Now any one of you can please tell me, cast, suppose if he catches the bus, right, then he catches the
25.
flight, and when he reach that particular town B, then how much business is going to be generate?
10,000.
10,000. So I'm writing here 10,000 minus how much cost is going to be incurred?
25.
25. How much is that?
9,000.
9,975. 9,975. Then what about the probability of catching the flight? So they gave in the problem, there is a 0.08 chance that he will miss the flight. Then what about the probability to get?
0.96.
0.96. If the probability is 1, if the chance of missing is 0.08, then what is that? 0.92, right?
92, sir.
0.92.
0.92. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now if you calculate this 0.92 into 9,975 expected value, how much?
9,177.
9,000?
177.
9,177. 9,177. Yes or no? Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now we have one more condition here. What is that? One more condition. What is that?
Miss the flight.
Miss the flight. So if he miss the flight, then definitely he is going to be incur cost which is minus 25 only, right?
Yes, sir.
Because he is already traveled to reach the airport. Anyhow, flight miss minus 25. He has to pay to the transportation cost which he already used. Then what about the probability?
0.08.
So 0.08. So multiply this 0.08 into 25
-2, sir.
minus 2. Did you got what I did here? So
Yes, sir.
based on the bus. So if he catches the flight, then definitely he is going to be make 10,000 business. Then out of 10,000 business, which he is going to be incur the cost, which is to travel to catch the flight in the bus, 25 rupees. 10,000 minus 25, which is going to be get 9,975. Then the probability which we are going to be catching the flight, which is 0.92. So we multiply with the 9,975 into 0.92. Then we got 9,177. Then we have one more states of nature, which is missing the flight. That if he missed the flight, anyhow he used the bus, then minus 25, he already paid. Then the probability which is missing the flight, they gave in the problem, which is 0.08. Then if you multiply here minus 25 into 0.08, which is you are going to be get minus 2. Okay, now staying in a hotel. Okay, so even if you stay in the hotel, how much they mentioned, which is rupees 270, right? Then with a 0.96 chance of being on time for the flight. Now any one of you can please tell me here cost.
10,000 minus 270.
10,000 minus 270, how much?
9,730.
9,730, right? Then what about the probability?
9,340.8. Sorry. Probability is 0.96.
96.
Probability which is 0.96. Okay, so 0.96 into 9730.
9340.
9340.8 we are going to be get. Yes or no? Okay, now what about the missing the flight?
Minus 270.
Minus 270. Then what about the probability here?
0.04.
0.04. Multiply this and tell me a value.
Minus 10.8.
Minus 10.80. Yes or no? Now taxi. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Now the taxi which is cost, right? So they mentioned here, if he approach taxi, which is how much he is going to be incur? Rupees
66.
350. Rupees 350. He can use a taxi, which will make 99% chance. Which will he makes 99% chance. Okay. Now any one of you can please tell me cost.
9,650.
10,000 minus 350. 9,000.
650.
650. What about the probability?
0.99.
0.99. So multiply 0.99 into 9650.
9,553.5.
9,553.50. Are you following? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now what about missing the flight?
Minus 350.
What about probability?
0.01.
How much is the value?
Minus 3.5.
Minus 3.5. Now see, which is expected monetary value, right? EMV. What about here? 9,177 minus 2. This one.
9,175.
9,175. Then what about here? 9340.80 minus of 10.80. How much?
9,351.6.
9,300,
51.6.
9,330. So I'm making 9,330. Is it fine? 9340.80 minus 10.80. Okay. Now, what about this one? Last one, 9553.50 minus 3.50.
Sir, here we got minus 10.80, no, sir.
Minus 10.80. Yes.
So we have to add it to 9340, no, sir.
No. 9340.80 minus 10.80.
Minus of minus 10.80, no, sir.
No, it's minus itself. So because see, listen,
Yes, sir.
9177 minus 2, because we already calculated catches the flight, which is 9177, right, and missing the flight. That's it. It's not minus of minus. 9340.80 minus 10.80. That's it. Because if he catches the flight and if he miss the flight, then how we are calculating that? It's not minus of minus. It's not minus of minus. It's 9340.80 minus 10.80. How much? Is it same? 9330?
Same, sir.
Now 9553.50 minus 3.50.
9,550.
9,550. Okay. Now, any one of you can please tell me, if he chooses bus, right, how much EMV he is going to be get?
9175.
Then if it is stay in hotel,
9330.
9330. Then if he use taxi,
9550.
so which one is the best one?
Bus.
Which one is the best one?
Taxi.
Is it a bus, staying in a hotel, or taxi?
Taxi.
Taxi, because 9550, which he is going to be make business, because business always profit expected monetary value, right? So it should be more. So taxi. So your answer is comparing the EMV, which is associated with each course of action, indicates the course of action. Taxi is the logical alternative because it has the highest EMV. Which has highest EMV? Taxi has highest EMV. Any questions? If you have any questions, please ask me.
Sir, if it is in case of profit, we have to take maximum value. If it is in case of loss, minimum value, sir.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Because he's traveling from one city to another city to conclude a business, then obviously you should calculate highest value itself, right? So
Yes.
if he travels, then only he's going to get 10,000, right?
Yes.
So if you use bus, he's going to be get 9,175 by considering even all these things. If he stay in a hotel, 9,330. But if he uses taxi, then he's going to be get 9,550. So best alternative to choose rather than bus and staying in a hotel, taxi, and he may conclude 9,550 rupees itself, because it's talking about business or profit. So if it is cost, then you have to choose minimum. That's it. Any questions? Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
So let me take one more problem. Shall I rub this one?
Yes, sir.
Acha, any one of you can please confirm to me. Yesterday I have forwarded videos. Did you got that? Have you checked? Guys, respond. Soumya or Shravani?
Yes, sir, we got, sir.
Okay. See, I'm trying to attach, but if I'm trying to attach, it is not attaching because it already forwarded to your previous group mail ID. So I thought to forward. So whenever forward, it was attached. So from 20th onwards, which is a file, is 641 MB. So I'm trying to attach, it was not attaching. Okay, so I will try to send, because you have to get videos from 20th onwards, 20, 21st, 22nd, and today's also. Okay, so that also I will try to send to you. So if it is not possible, then I will find even other alternative also how to send. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now, so we'll go ahead with one more problem, which is called same EMV method, right? Clear? So let me read one problem to you, right? Try to understand this, what they are talking about here. The manager of a flower shop promises its customers delivery within 4 hours on all flower orders. So we are talking about one particular shop owner who is dealing with the flower related, and he promised if anyone gave an order to him, then definitely within 4 hours he is going to be provide a service, right? So all flowers are purchased on the previous day and delivered to Parker by 8 a.m. Okay, so all flowers are purchased on the previous day and delivered to Parker by 8 a.m. the next morning. Clear? The daily demand for roses is as follows. Okay, so those who are using pen and paper, please write down this. Dozen of roses. First row, dozen of roses, which is first one, 7, 8, 9, 10. Any one? Note it down. Dozen of roses. Can I know who is noted down? Who is noting down?
Me, sir.
Sorry?
Soumya, sir.
Soumya. Okay, fine. So dozen of roses, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. Then probability. So under dozen of roses 7, which is probability 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0.3. Fine, Soumya?
Yes, sir.
So dozen of roses 7, 8, 9, 10, and probability which is 0.1, 0.2, 0.4, 0.3. Now problem is the manager purchases roses for rupees 10 per dozen. The manager purchases roses for rupees 10 per dozen. So manager he is going to buy flowers per dozen. How much?
10 per dozen.
10 rupees, rupees 10. Okay, and sells them rupees 30. Sells them rupees at 30. So how much profit he is making?
20.
20. So he is going to be buy with the 10 rupees per dozen, and he is selling per dozen, which is 30. So can that he is making profit which is 20. Okay. All unsold roses are donated to a local hospital. How many dozens of roses should Parker order each evening to maximize its profits? So listen carefully here. How many dozens of roses should Parker order each evening to maximize its profits? What is the optimum expected profit? So it's EMV method itself, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Clear? Now listen carefully here. Now you have to write which is marginal profit. So how to write marginal profit, because you know very well about the selling price and selling cost also. So 30 minus 10, which is 20. That is called marginal profit. Then what about marginal loss? Loss, which is going to be get?
Cost minus unsold.
Come on guys, finance guys. So he's buying per dozen, which is 10 rupees, and selling, which is 30 rupees. Then profit is 20. Then if he invest 10 rupees, and if he is not able to sell that dozen roses, then how much cost is going to be incur or loss?
10.
10 rupees. That's it. Then why you are waiting? Then see, so we have to write here the conditional profit. I think, hope you understand this logic. Yes or no?
Sir.
Clear? If you have any doubts, please ask me now itself. Now Soumya.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So dozens of roses they mentioned from 7, right?
Yes, sir.
So that means indirectly he may not buy less than
7.
exactly. Good. Clear? Are you following? Everyone. Are you following? Now listen. Now listen here carefully, which is conditional profit. So you have to write conditional profit. Okay. So how we are going to be write, which is MP. What is MP? Which is marginal profit into roses sold minus marginal loss, right, into roses not sold. Okay. So for that, which is I'm going to write, which is 20S. So what is this S? Which is stock I'm talking about here. Okay. So why 20S? Why 20S?
20 rupees profit he is getting.
Yes, exactly. So if D is greater than equals to S. So what is D? Which is demand per day. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Now second one, which is, see, 20D minus 10, right? S minus D. So if you calculate this, which you are going to be get 30D minus 10S, when if D less than S. So the most important one here, which you have to remember, that is a conditional profit 20S if D is greater than equals to S, 30D minus 10S if D is less than S. So if you know this logic, then it is easy to you to calculate this type of problems. Okay. Clear? Shall we go at the table?
Yes, sir.
Right. Now let me go ahead. So remember this, which is 20S if D is greater than equals to S. If 30D minus 10S if D is less than S. What is D?
Demand per day.
What is S?
Stock.
So conditional profit values, which I'm making table here. Conditional profit values, which I'm making table here, right? Okay. So first one, which is states of nature, which is demand per day, right? So that is D. Okay. Now next, probability which they given in the problem. Yes or no? So now Soumya will tell demand per day
7,
7, 8,
9,
9
10.
and 10. Okay. Now probability, Soumya.
0.1, 0.2,
0.1, 0.2,
0.4, 0.3.
0.4, 0.3. Now, which is conditional profit, which we already calculated, which is called course of action. So I'm mentioning here the stock. Okay. So I'm mentioning here is stock. Okay. So stock he has to maintain, which is how much, Soumya?
7, 8, 9, 10.
7, 8, 9, 10. That's it. Okay. Now, what is this conditional profit which I have mentioned? Now check here, which is this D and S. 7, 7. Is it greater than equals to S?
Equal to S.
Greater
Demand
than
is
equal, yeah, it's equals to S. Greater than or equals to S, right? So what is our condition here?
30.
20S, right?
20, yes, sir. Yes.
So you have to do 20S. 20 into S. S value how much?
7.
Yes. So 20 into 7, how much?
140.
140. So you are going to be get 140 here. Now, if any one of you can please tell me next value. 7, demand and stock. Compare here. Demand is 7 and 8 is stock. 7 is greater than equals to S.
7 is
Greater than equals to S, or D is less than S?
D is less than S.
D is less than S. If D is less than S, what we need to do?
30D minus 10S.
30D minus 10S. So calculate 30D into how much? 30D. 30 into 7.
140 minus 10, 130.
No. 10 S. 10 into S.
Sir, 10 into
30D. 30D. 30D how much? Which is 7 minus 10 into S. S how much?
8.
8. That's it. How much this one? 7 3s are 210.
10.
80. 210 minus 80. How much?
130.
130. Are you following?
Sir, we can even do like this, no, sir. We already sold seven dozens.
7?
We already sold 7 dozens, sir,
Mm-hmm.
in the stock, and we are remaining with 1 dozen. So 1 into 10, so it's 10. So 140 minus 10, 130, no, sir.
Yeah, you can do like that also, but without confusing. So I'm using this conditional profit. I'm calculating.
Okay,
Okay.
sir.
Right now, next. Now 7 9. Is it greater than or less than?
Greater than.
Sorry.
Sir, demand is less than stock.
Yes, demand is less than S. So if D is less than S, then 30D minus 10S. So 30D, how much? Which is 210. 30 into 7, 210. Then 10 into 8 or 9?
9.
9. 10 into 9. How much?
120.
Sorry?
120.
Are you following, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So see, I'm repeating once again. So we come up with the conditional profit here based on the given values, right? So I'm checking here the demand and supply. So 7 is demand for first row. So 7 and 7. So D is greater than equals to S. So it's equals to S, right? Greater than equals to X. Then if it's that condition is satisfying, then calculate 20S. So 20 into 7. So 140 we got. Now again 7, 8. So which is D less than S. Okay. So if that is the condition, 30D minus 10S. 30D. 30D how much? 30 into 7, which is 210. Then 10 minus 10 into 8. Stock, which is 8, which we are going to be get, which is 130. Then 7 9. Same thing. Now next, any one of you tell me the direct answer. 7 10.
110.
Sorry.
110, sir.
110.
So you are applying 30D minus 10S. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now let me ask question to you guys. Who is presented? Okay, Kavya.
Yes, sir.
So next step, tell me here. Demand is 8 and stock is 7. Whether you are going to be take D is greater than equals to S or D less than S.
D greater than equal to S, sir.
D greater than equals to S. So 20S.
20 into
20 into
8, sir. 8.
yes. How much? Yes, how much?
8, sir. 8.
This is demand, right? 8 is a demand. So you are
Sir, I'm saying
calculating here.
20 into 8, sir.
20 into 7, stock is
20
7.
into 7, stock is 7.
Yeah, yes, sir, yes, sir.
Kavya,
Yes, sir.
you got?
Yes, I got.
Okay, so 20 into 7. Okay, so
Okay,
140.
okay.
Now 8, 8. Kavya again. Kavya,
Sir, it is same as no, sir. D greater than no?
D is greater than or equals to S?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Now you are going to take 20S or 30D minus 10S?
30D minus S. Yes, sir. 30D minus 10S, sir.
Don't get confused, Kavya.
Sir, actually,
So I'm not
getting disturbed from my
teaching
home.
directly, and I'm not come on your place, and I may not take your book, and I'm not going to be check. Don't get confused. Okay. Be calm and give an answer.
Okay, sir.
Don't hurry.
Actually,
Okay.
some disturbances, sir, in my home. That's why.
Okay. Okay. Now see 8, 8. So D is greater than or equals to S. So if it is D is greater than or equals to S, then what you are going to be do?
20S.
20S. Now tell me the answer. 20S means, is it 8 or 7?
Yes, sir.
20 into value.
20 into value is S, sir. 7, sir.
Kavya. So where you are calculating? Where you are calculating?
Sir, we are calculating that second row is 30D minus 10S, sir.
Listen, Kavya. See, D is 8, stock is 7, 8, 9, 10. So if this is the place, stock is 7, but D is same. If if D is 8, here in this place, stock is 8, right?
Yes, yes.
But if you are calculating here, stock is 9, but D is same. If you are calculating here, D is same in this row, but the stock is going to be changed 10, right? Now tell me here, we are calculating here, right, in this place. Now D is 8 and S is also 8. Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Now you tell me, so is it, you said D is greater than or equals to S. So if the D is greater than or equals to S, then you are going to be take 20 S. Now 20
Yes, sir.
into
20 into 8, sir.
20 into 8. Good. Now value. 8 2s are. కావ్య ఎంతమ్మా 8 రెండ్ల
116, sir. 160.
8 ఒకట్లో 8 8 రెండ్ల 16 అంతేనా?
Yes, sir.
8 2s are 16. So
160, yeah.
160. Okay. Mamata?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, next value.
D
D.
is 8 and S is 9, sir.
Okay.
And D is less than S, sir.
Okay. Good.
I think 30D minus 10S.
You think not, you should.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
30 minus
30T minus 10S. Now tell me.
180 total. 9.
30D. 30 into 8
30 into 8. Okay.
minus 10 into any one of you?
9.
Answer.
9, sir.
Yeah.
10.
10 into 9.
150, sir. 150.
150. Good. Are you following?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes or no? Now
Yes, sir.
Himaja,
Yes, sir.
value. This value
140, sir.
140. So is less than, right? D less than S.
Less than
So 30D minus
10S.
10S. 140.
40.
Now any one of you can please tell me this one? 9 9 7.
140.
140. Good. Next.
160.
160. So I'm going fastly. I think everyone understood, right?
Yes, sir.
Next.
150.
180, sir.
180. Next.
170.
170. Good. Next.
140.
140.
40. Next.
160.
160. Next.
180.
180. Next.
200.
200. Okay. So expected profit, right? So which is going to be purchase per day. Okay. Now purchase per day 7, 8, 9, 10. Now we already calculated stock, right, which is 140, right? So 140 into probability, which is 0.1. So calculate that 140 into probability 1 and 130 into 0.1, 120 into 0.1, 110 into 0.1. Now tell me the values here.
14.
14,
13.
13,
12. 10.
12,
12. 11.
11. Now what about here?
28.
28. Good.
32.
32,
30.
30,
28.
28. Good. Next.
56.
56,
64.
64,
72.
72,
68.
68. Next.
42.
42,
48.
48,
54.
54,
60.
60. Okay. Now which you have to calculate here, EMV, expected monetary value. What about this total and this total and this total? Total, tell me.
140, sir.
140,
157.
157,
168.
168.
167.
So which one is the highest?
168.
So how many dozens Parker should buy every evening?
168. No, 9.
9 dozens. Exactly. Good. Okay. Since the highest EMV of rupees 168 is corresponding to codes of action 90, that means 9, right? In the problem they gave 70, 80, 90, 100. So for the easy calculation I made it 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. So 9, the flower shop should purchase the 9 dozen roses every day. This is your answer. So don't forget to write last end statement, because the evaluator, external evaluator, will check that last line only. So he will randomly go ahead with this, and finally he is going to be check your answer and where you got. So if you wrote, then he is going to be give marks and he will go ahead like that very fastly. Did you understand this, everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So under EMV method, we solved 2 problems. One is a flight related and one is which is a flowers related oriented one. So see what we did in the previous problem. Based on the given information which we calculated, 2 alternatives they gave, states of nature, which is catching the flight or missing the flight. Then based on that we worked. They gave 3 options, strategies, which is one is bus, one is taxi, and one is staying hotel. Right, we calculated and we shown. Now in this problem they mentioned about that the Parker, which is person, he is going to be buy every evening dozens of roses, which is 7, 8, 9, 10, and the probability which is mentioned, which is 0.1, 0.2, 0.4 and 0.3. Then he is going to be buy each dozen, which is by investing rupees 10 rupees, and he's selling, which is 30 rupees. Then we found that the profit which is going to be incurred 20. Okay. So based on that we wrote conditional profit. Then if he is not selling that one dozens of roses, then he is going to be incur the cost, which is, or maybe a loss, which is 10 rupees. So we got conditional profit and marginal profit and marginal loss. Then based on that, we wrote conditional profit. So how we wrote conditional profit, which is marginal price minus roses sold, marginal profit into roses sold minus ML, which is marginal loss into roses not sold. So based on that, we wrote conditional profit here, which is 20S if D is greater than or equals to S. D is demand, right? And S is stock. And even we wrote one more conditional profit if D is less than S, which is 30D minus 10S. So on what basis we wrote that 20D minus 10S minus D. Okay, so we got 30D minus 10S. Okay, so based on that, we've made a table here, which is demand and probability and stock. Then we wrote 7, 8, 9, 10 demand, which he has every week, right? And even stock is also 7 dozens, 8 dozens, 9 dozens, and 10 dozens. Then we are compared with 7 and 7, right? If it is equal, greater than or equals to, then we applied 20S. If it is less than, we applied, which is 30D minus 10S. Then based on that, we got the values here. Then we multiplied with these values with the probability, then we got, then finally we shown maximum values, total values. In the total value, which place we got maximum value, which is under 9 dozens, we got 168. So we may say about that, Parker every evening he has to buy 9 dozens of the roses. So can that he is going to be get maximum profit, which is 168 rupees. Any questions or any doubts, please ask me.
Sir, in every EMV problem,
Mm-hmm.
the demand in the stock row and column will be same, na, sir?
Yeah, same. It may not be changed. Same. See, if demand is 7, you have to maintain the same stock itself, right? As per the basic information. Yes or no? Soumya?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Suppose, see, you started a one shop, right? So in that, every day 7 products you are able to sell. You know that demand 7, right? Now,
Yes,
how
sir.
many stock you need to maintain?
7.
7, exactly 7 itself. Okay, this is minimum logic, right? So if you maintain 8, that is additional. Okay, if you
Yes,
maintain
sir.
6, then what happens?
Yes, it is stock, less stock.
Less stock, you are not meeting demand. So the basic fundamental here, so based on the demand, any business person has to maintain stock. So which is why demand and stock always equal in this type of problems.
Yes, sir.
Okay, right? So shall we stop here itself?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I will forward to you one problem. Let us see how many of you solve that. Shall I give directly conditional profits to you, or else will you find out that? Which option you want? Tell me.
We'll try finding it, sir. We'll try finding this conditional profit.
Okay, I will send to you a problem. Let us see. Okay, if you did not find, and because it depends upon conditional profit itself. Okay, so if you did not find that conditional profit, it's highly difficult to you to solve this table. Okay, so try. Even if you did not get, send me a message, then I will send to you how to identify that. Then based on that, please calculate. Okay.
Sir, please send these 2 questions also, sir.
These 2 questions.
Yes.
Okay, I will send to you 2 questions also. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Right. Okay. We'll meet tomorrow. Good day.